Welcome to Out of the Rough, and in this show I'm going to highlight opportunities and solutions to many of life's challenges. In these tough economic times, I want to bring to you practical solutions to many of the challenges you face every day. And today I've got Brian Safdari. Brian Safdari is the founder of College Planning Experts and an expert when it comes to college planning. And right now, with those that are getting ready to go to school, they really need this advice. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Fred.
First thing I want to ask you is, as deadlines approach, if you miss a deadline, it's like missing an airplane. You miss it. What is the most important deadline somebody needs to know when it comes to getting student aid?
Well, good question, Fred. Right now, seniors in high school or students in college right now have a deadline of March 1st in order to qualify for financial aid on the federal standpoint, meaning the FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, FAFSA. And the FAFSA has to be filled out every single year on March 1st in order to qualify for financial aid, either if you're a first-time student going in or if you're renewing your financial aid package.
So if you're renewing it, you have to fill it out. It's a yearly item.
Every year. So, and that's a thing I get all the time from families saying, well, we didn't get financial aid last year. What do I guess I don't qualify. That's not true. If you didn't qualify for 1 year, you can learn the strategies going forward to know how to qualify. But right now, deadlines are the most important. You want to make sure you get your financial aid forms by March 1st. A little hint for families or a strategy I can give, I would say apply as early as you can because grants are on a first-come, first-served basis. We want to get financial aid forms done starting January 1 is the first day you can submit the FAFSA, and you can go online and submit the financial aid form, and the last day is March 1st. So the sooner you apply, the better your chances of qualifying for financial aid.
Now, when it comes to qualifying for that financial aid, if there is a mistake made, do they let you know, or how do you know, because it is an extensive form to fill out?
Yeah, well, they don't come back and tell you you've missed information or there are information that are needed. They're going to just give you a deadline of March 1st. They give you an instructions page online to follow. If you don't follow those instructions, then you can be toast. You can lose out on financial aid, not because you didn't qualify, because you didn't follow the instructions to get the forms done on time.
Yeah, the paperwork. It's important that you ask either your counselor at school to look it over and help, or maybe another friend that's filling one out, or someone like yourself who that's all you do for a living is help people qualify for schools, get the finances they needed. I know in California there's some special grants or particular grants for students.
Yeah, we have the first one, federal grant, is the Pell Grant, P-E-L-L, Pell Grant.
And that's for all
That's
Americans.
For all U.S. schools, anywhere in the country. There's an income ceiling to qualify for the Pell Grant. And for example, right now it stands at $60,000 as your adjusted gross income. Parents, when they hear income, they just think total gross income. There's a difference between your gross income and your adjusted gross income. So you have to make sure you read the FAFSA. It says, please list your adjusted gross income from such and such line on your tax returns and switch that number and put it on this line on the FAFSA. So you want to make sure you're reading the questions because you can have a $65,000 income, but minus deductions and all these other things, your adjusted gross income may come under $60,000 and you'll qualify.
Yeah, like 401k
contributions, IRA contributions, anything that's on the tax return that's a above the line deduction. And it's good to talk to an accountant because an accountant could be a good friend, a good ally through this process as well.
I like it. I like it. Now, let's talk about California specific, the Cal Grants you hear so much about.
Yeah, Cal Grant is another huge grant out there. It's actually bigger in amount than the Pell Grant. The Cal Grant is a minimum of $1,500 up to $11,700 is the max you can qualify in the Cal Grant. Cal Grant applies if you're going to a four-year university. It even applies to a junior college. But predominantly it would be, to get the maximum amount, it would be a four-year school, but you have to stay in California in order to qualify for the Cal Grant. The Cal Grant has three key aspects to qualify. There's an income ceiling, there's an asset ceiling, and there's a GPA ceiling.
So you look at those three things, and we can talk in the next segment about how to maximize that, but I want to jump to Stafford Loans? I've heard of not Stanford Loans, but Stafford Loans.
Sure. The Stafford loans apply when you demonstrate a need. So there's something called need-based financial aid, which we'll talk about in the planning stage. But when you submit a FAFSA, you're going to get something called your expected family contribution. And once you get that, that's what's going to determine the planning stage of how to qualify for the most amount of financial aid. So the Stafford loan kicks in when you submit a FAFSA. The minute you submit a FAFSA, and if you qualify for need-based financial aid, you will be eligible for Stafford loans, which come in subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized means it's interest-free. The max you can get is $3,500 for the first year a student's going to college. And you can get $2,000 in an unsubsidized Stafford, which means the interest accrues, but it's a very small interest rate that the student will take, and they'll pay this back when they graduate. 6 months after they graduate college, then they start paying these loans back.
Interesting. There's so much to keep track of. We're going to jump to a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about ways, and Brian's going to share ways to help maximize and get the most money you can for your college education. We'll be right back.